Truth is, we believe everyone can be athletic.
But sometimes the knee gets in the way.
So I look at it as 6 steps to body build the knee, starting with backward sled walking, utilizing a ruck, or just walking backward. What I think about when going backwards is driving through the toe and getting full extension of the knee. Step 2 is a step up. Gives you a pump at high reps that I've never felt before. Step 3 is a split squat, which is going to get us ready for step 4, the squat. Step 5 is my favorite step, the sissy squat. The final step in bodybuilding your knee, step 6, is training the full stretch of your quad.
We just delivered a seminar to 30 people, most of whom had knee surgeries or knee problems, and they were all able to use these exercises at their own level.
Now, Jason knows this data, so he can use this as he sees fit with his NC Fit members.
Probably going to train anyway, but doing it pain-free makes it more fun and it boosts your performance.
So what we just did for us started out as something that we considered our pro program, like our highest level program where you run through all 6 of these levels. But from working with so many people, we realized that these same 6 levels can be used for anyone. But by the nature of it, it's going to work to the degree that you understand it. And each level requires more responsibility to use it. Let's get an example of this. When you're sledding backward, the weight is on the sled. It's not bearing down on you. So even if there was 1,000 pounds on the sled, it would be very hard to injure yourself. Whereas if there was 1,000 pounds on the reverse step up, you could. Or what if you did a reverse step up on a 1-foot box? That might hurt compared to a 3-foot step. So with each level, there is more responsibility. For me, that's the most important thing I can say after any kind of knees over toes exercises is you do start out with a route of like, okay, no knees over toes, let's avoid knees over toes. Well, end product of that, 1 million knees are being replaced a year right now at $40,000 a pop. That number, the experts are saying that's going to 3.5x by 2030. With knees over toes, there actually is no reason that has to happen, but we do have to get the lowest levels in. Jason learned all this stuff, was able to immediately get his father in his 70s. Sorry, sir, didn't mean to reveal your age. He revealed that to me in confidence. You're looking great for your 70s, you're crushing it. But the point is he was able to start backward sledding. From your very first step, that's knees over toes. So we do have that route. Are we going to completely avoid something hard in life, or are we going to seek to master it? Seeking to master it, though, is not just an easier route. It takes more responsibility. So sorry I had to bore you with that couple minutes, but it is so important if you're going to try any of this stuff. Make sure you master it and apply it from the lowest levels first. And I'm going to pass it to my wife, who has something further to say on that.
I can hold her.
I don't want her to get the camera.
Oh, okay.
You don't edit any of this out either. The key is 1 take, so it's genuine as if you were really here with us, no second take.
There you go. Anyway, for me, just doing things at a pain-free level is so important. Just to go along with what Ben said, you master the basics, then you build on that, and all of a sudden you can progress to levels that you didn't know, or you get back to areas that you did once be able to do pain-free. And we will move it on to Mr. Keegan.
Pain-free, pain-free, pain-free. She deserves a ton of credit for that, because even as I was knowing all this data, I would get a little bit too ambitious with it and with people and try to push them too fast. And she was like, I don't want to work through any pain, like not even a 2 or a 3, because the science does say you could work through a 2 or a 3 and still get results. But we found actually find a 0, pump, 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 pump at a 0.
Yeah.
And we've seen now from training thousands of people, wow, find the 0 pain that you can pump up at that level. Way better results than working through a 2 or a 3. And she deserves the credit for that. I was kind of an idiot on that. Keegan knows a lot about this data. Perfect transition to him.
So from the more meathead perspective of you're going to get it done anyway and you have to win, when I was working with professional rugby players, they were going to play anyway. They were playing through pain. What this technology does is allows us to alter the ratio between the amount of blood flow that the tissue is getting and the amount of remodeling effect. So if you want maximal hypertrophy, you want to have a lot of remodeling. But if you put too much effort into remodeling, then the tissues can be damaged, and then you need to actually restore them with the blood flow. So getting that ratio right between remodeling work and blood flow is going to make all the difference to then be able to boost your performance to the next level. If you can continue to remodel the tissues and grow them, then you're going to be able to take it to another level if you can recover from it. So the ratio between the two is really the key for me.
Keegan's not even close to done because Keegan is going to demonstrate level 6 of the posterior. We want to make it clear, we're not saying only train your knee and nothing else. Now, this is level 6. This is extreme advanced, getting the barbells all the way to the floor with the quads flexed. Absolutely incredible. For those who don't know, Keegan reached out to me when I had 14,000 followers on Instagram and said, the world needs to know this stuff. And I was blown away because he had no idea that he was the first person I ever saw doing knees over toes training on the internet. Because I saw some clues from Charles Poliquin about, no, the knee that can go farthest and strongest over the toes has the least chance of injury. And then Poliquin recommended Keegan Smith, ended up digging into his work, seeing videos of him over a decade ago. So here, you had no idea, right, about that?
Check it out.
Yes, he's also doing, he's also showing how it scales. Every step scales.
Yep.
Now, hold my, well here, I'll show it. I'll do what Keegan's doing. I have the stretch here, back foot, and then grab a hold of a bar. 0, we use high reps, typically 25 reps in the 0 program. Boom. Now you can do 25 reps on that building. So he was showing something very advanced. I want it to be clear, no, it's not. We're not saying your whole life is only training the knee. Keegan also had some good tips on how he would apply this to someone doing a CrossFit workout. We showed these 6 steps. Where and how would you apply them?
You're building a bigger foundation with the positions and strength, right? Like these are the two things. If you want someone to go to the next level in CrossFit, you want them to be stronger and you want them to be more efficiently able to get into the positions. So the kind of work that we're doing with ATG helps you feel really comfortable in the positions and be stronger in the key positions. So you can be really targeted about where strength is missing and add it specifically to that step. Focus on the step that's going to make the most difference to your performance and take that to the next level. You can also use this as a recovery tool so you're able to tolerate more work. Sometimes more work actually helps you to do more work. If it's things like the sled, where there is a high ratio of blood flow to remodeling. Not much remodeling, high amount of blood flow.
Yeah, and specifically, I was playing with my daughter for a second there. Steps 1, 2, 3, sled, reverse step up, split squat, pumping, high rep. For example, 20 rep on the step up, 20 rep at the bottom quarter of the split squat. Those could be used, you were saying, before a CrossFit session. Boom. Just pump up steps 1, 2, 3, because now in CrossFit, you're doing step 4. Like your step 4 is gonna do great with CrossFit. Steps 1, 2, 3 to warm up. Then you got step 4 already in CrossFit. You could use steps 5, 6 to cool down after. Jason, can't thank you enough. I've been a fan of Jason since way before I had social media. I didn't have his number when someone sent me a message to do a seminar. Didn't realize who it was. When I realized who it was, I think I told all of you, I was like, holy shit, Jason Khalipa just reached out to me. So here we are in Northern California, came up from LA with the kids. It's been crazy, but it's been so worth it to be here. Believe it or not, the house I grew up in, it's like 5 minutes. So sometimes things are wild how they work out. We haven't seen Keegan in many years, and he was able to come here with his family and his 2 kids. So sometimes things are pretty cool how they work out. Jason, is there anything that feels like a duty to say before people go off with this data?
A duty to say. So a lot of these movements, I wouldn't say this is the first time I saw them, but it's the most I've been able to be touched by people who are experts in them. So I just thought I'd give some of my feedback, right? So for the backward sled pulls, again, focusing kind of on that toe drive and extension was a big takeaway for me. But I just want to show you something I thought was really interesting. So these step ups, in particular, like these wedges, my big takeaway was gently tapping the heel instead of tapping the toe. So you're not using so much power to kind of drive off here, but you're just gently kind of touching the bottom. I felt a pump in my quad that I had never felt before at those higher reps. So this was a really cool exercise that I'll be using more often to warm up my joint and get me prepared for everything I have going on. So that was a big takeaway for me, was even with this simple thing, right, doing 20 reps, it got really difficult really quickly. And then my last thing on these split squats, something that really was kind of a takeaway for me was that as I reached the end range, kind of in this position, what I was told and what makes sense to me is kind of taking the calf and putting it on the hamstring. I think I wasn't in a forward enough position when I would do these, and I'd be too upright. So having that knee really come forward to the toes was really helpful. And then kind of pulsating right here before standing up gave a whole different impact. So those were some major takeaways along with the sissy squat that I really enjoyed through you guys' seminar. But this and this are definitely gonna be things I'm gonna be incorporating more and more, especially before every training session.
Amazing. To finish out, I can't thank Jason enough just for being willing to learn this stuff. The wrong approach would be to think ATG or CrossFit or your sport or this. ATG, we don't care what degree you use of it. Take a step backward, like awesome. You just did, do the backward sled, you just did a workout. Add some step up, you just did it. Like whatever degree you want to use it, but still it's so easy to see something different and just want to push it aside. So I can't stress enough how freaking cool it is that Jason was willing to let us come in here. Yeah. So freaking cool. So if you're in the area, Northern California, he has a number of locations. They're amazing. The staff here is incredible. Actually, the members, like all 30 people, like just incredible people and communities in these gyms. That's the priceless. Like the priceless part is the community, and now you can get the best of both worlds at his gym. So, all right, see you next week.